I want to ask about, too, this piece you've had in the New York Post, and it's another one of your great exclusives, but there's a fire chief, Joel Baker, who's been accused of denying requests to send rescuers to Caryville, Texas, days before the flooding, all because of a dispute with the state government. This seems pretty horrific. What's this all about?
Right. So the fire department's union has come out against the chief, saying that he had denied their requests to send personnel, to send firefighters who had water rescue experience to the Kerr County floods, actually ahead of the floods, before they happened, because they had some warnings ahead of time. And the fire chief allegedly denied that request. He sent a few people initially, he did, but he denied the request to send out those rescue teams in the days before the floods. Now this calls into question, could lives have been saved? Could this have prevented such a devastating loss of life at the camps and in the communities? And so that's something the union is really hammering the fire chief for. They've actually initiated a vote of no confidence in him, and we'll be voting on that soon. But there's been a lot of speculation about why the fire chief did this, and it's over budget constraints, allegedly. He says that he would have done it. It's not that, he's kind of denying the claims about it being about budget constraints. He did send an email saying that they wouldn't be sending any deployments until October, but he said this would have counted as an exception. So there's been kind of this back and forth going on about what really happened, but the fire chief is really denying a lot of it and saying that this would have counted as an exception to his rule.
I wanted to talk a bit about the immigration issue, of course, as well, because all of these sorts of protests that we keep seeing against the ICE officers, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, they're getting pretty spicy now, Jenny, and there have been 10 people who've now been charged with attempted murder after allegedly ambushing ICE agents on the 4th of July, who drew the agents out of a detention center and then proceeded to allegedly shoot at them. Take a look at what the president said about what should happen to people who do this sort of thing.
And what do you think the penalty should be for these people who are, if they are found guilty, for people who shoot at ICE officers?
Very, very stiff. Very stiff. A long time in jail, a long time. And one got hit yesterday in the neck. And he fortunately is going to be okay, but he got hit yesterday in the neck. No good.
Jenny, this seems to be really going beyond the realms of peaceful protest. I saw earlier today in Los Angeles there were protests where they were trying to block an ICE raid. Tell us about this real tension now that's happening between these activists and ICE. And I really worry that this is going to lead to a real tragedy here soon.
Right. Unfortunately, we've seen this violence and these threats against ICE ramp up as they're carrying out their mass deportation operations. So in Los Angeles, of course, this has been ground zero for these groups to organize and to actually try to obstruct ICE from doing their job. And we've even seen the mayor of LA get involved when she tried to stop Border Patrol from going into a park that is teeming with MS-13 gangbangers. So this is really becoming a huge issue that's really stopping ICE from being able to make arrests and do their job and get these threats out of the community. And at the same time, it's putting them in harm's way because, like you talked about, there was this incident, right, that really shows this perfectly. You had a number of individuals who went outside of a facility, a detention facility that ICE runs here in Texas, in northern Texas. And it was on the 4th of July. They set off fireworks to kind of start something, to have these ICE agents come out. They lured them out with the fireworks, and then they started shooting at them. And like you mentioned, like the president mentioned, someone was shot in the neck. A local cop was shot in the neck. Thankfully, they're alive. But this could have ended even more horribly, could have ended with fatalities. So this is really like the normal day-to-day now for ICE agents.
Jennie Taer, thank you so much for your great work. Stay safe out there in Texas, and we'll speak again soon.